Welcome back to Preparing for the Unexpected. We are broadcasting live from DRJ Spring 2024 at the Renaissance at SeaWorld. This is our last hour, James.
Hour 10, Alex. Unbelievable. This hour is brought to you by Speak and Spark, the Speaker Bureau Marketplace, connecting event organizers with speakers in resilience, cybersecurity, and human resources. Their mission is to connect audiences to experts, which sparks a conversation.
So thank you, Speak and Spark. So James, we've got a little bit of time before our last two guests join us. So I wanted to talk about something a little bit kind of fun.
Absolutely.
We can play with this in any way we want. We're in the middle of Florida.
Yes, we are.
As you've mentioned before, there are hurricanes that happen here.
They do.
What happens if there is a disaster or crisis at a business continuity conference? Would we all try to take over and tell everyone what to do? Would we stand back and let the hotel or resort staff do what they're supposed to do? Would we follow their direction? Or would we stand back and critique everything? They should have done this, should have done that. What do you think we would do?
Well, first of all, hurricane season typically starts June 1 with climate change that's getting earlier and earlier. That being said, if there was a hurricane in March, I think everyone, including myself, would freak out. And if there was a hurricane that just popped up, the beauty about hurricanes is they're far away and slow moving. They're no surprise. The bad thing about hurricanes is they don't follow the exact little dotted path that everyone thinks they're going to follow. So are you in or out of the cone of uncertainty? You just kind of panic for several days. If something happened here right now, at this time of day, so let's say the alarm went off. The fire alarm went off in this hotel right at this second. And if that did, that would be amazing. But we did not pull it if it did. If it went off, I think typically you would have a third of the people just ignore it. And hopefully, being with some business continuity practitioners, hopefully some people, including ourselves, would step up and yell at people to get out of the building.
Yeah.
But I think even with business continuity practitioners, I think you would have people just ignore it, or it's a drill, or what to do. I found it interesting. So one of our guests earlier today, Mark Hoffman, spoke about the workshop that he ran Saturday here at the hotel. And at the start of the workshop, he pointed out, okay, here are the emergency exits. Here's what to do in the event of an incident. And I was trying to think of the last time I was at a business continuity or resilience related workshop where the speaker or moderator actually did that little bit of housekeeping. It's been a very long time since I've seen that, and a lesson learned. It made sense to me. We are at DRJ, the world's biggest business continuity conference. We are at a business continuity workshop. We should know what to do in the event of emergency. So for me, that was a lesson learned to always do that. But yeah, I think a third of the people at this point, it's day 3 of the conference. It's after lunch. They're just going to ignore the alarm. Much like down the hall, as you know, someone was randomly blowing a whistle here and there, and nobody seems to care. That why is there someone with a whistle? Are we on a playground? Are we on a sports field? Is there a game of footy happening live right now? What's going on? Nobody cares about the whistle. And so I would think there's a big chunk of people that wouldn't care about the alarm.
Well, depending on who's playing that game of footy, I'd want to be in front of the TV because that's my favorite. So, but that happens even in office places. The alarms go off and people just kind of look around and wait and don't do anything.
Yeah, to see if it's a false alarm.
And I know a lot of places they turn around. When the alarm is long beeps or short beeps, they mean something different. But to most people, it's the alarm's going off.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be a difference. So if I'm supposed to move, you'll tell me.
Yeah. If it's bad, somebody will tell me.
Yeah. Screen fire or whatever the case may be. I just thought it was.
Right now.
I was having a little bit of fun with it, knowing that we critique process, if we try to find the gaps, would we turn around afterwards and go, they should have done this, they should have done that?
So I actually have a guest idea for you. We couldn't do it during the conference because he's busy. But we should talk to Bob Arnold, not this week. Does he have a BCPE for a conference?
Would he get mad at us if we ask him that?
Well, we're going to ask him that before we go on the air. But I would be curious as a conference organizer, and he's a great example. So Bob, very seasoned executive, has run DRJ for a long time. It's the first time we're in this hotel. This is not his hotel. This is not his floor plan. This is not his layout.
Right.
That's done between the hotel and the fire marshal and a lot of other third parties. So I would be curious, like, what is the DRJ plan if something happens at DRJ? Because, again, they don't control the venue.
Yeah.
It's a brand new venue. Does he have, does DRJ walk through different scenarios? We should definitely talk to him offline and see if he'd be willing to share that, because I haven't thought about it from the event organizer perspective.
That would be interesting. Just hypothetically, he could be sitting talking with hotel staff, asking those questions. Okay, what are we supposed to do in this kind of situation? What do you do? What are our expectations? What are your expectations? I've got 600 people that have come because of me. So, how does this play out?
And, we talk about in an office setting, if your organization's in a multi-tenant facility.
Yes.
Some of these hotels, like on Sunday, there were 3 conferences. So you have the same as multi-tenant. What if there's an issue with one, or is it all 3? Like, is it a building issue? Is it a facility issue? Is it one event, there's a fire in their exhibit hall issue? That affects everybody. That's actually, you need to talk to somebody who knows more about that. I know this started as a humorous segment, but now I'm really interested in what happens.
Actually, so am I now.
I want to know what happens in an exhibit hall. So I guess at 2:45, you and I are going to pull a fire alarm as we go
and
off
just
the
see
air and see what happens. And then hopefully Aaron or somebody will bail us out of jail.
Yeah, somebody. It was just a test. That's all. Yeah, it did start out lighthearted, but once you got into it, it'd be really interesting, especially with a place this big.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do? And staff is all over the place. Well, does that mean all staff is trained the same way, because they could be anywhere at any time when something happens, so they step up? Or is there people suddenly that run out of the hotel offices with a red cap or something that start yelling at everyone to what to do and follow them, or whatever the case may be?
And there's a theme park on the other side of the parking lot,
which is where probably a lot of people would go.
Yes, going right to find Shamu.
You probably experienced this, but I've been in offices where they have pulled the alarm, and if there's a nearby coffee shop or something like that, half the staff walks down the sidewalk,
Exactly.
goes there and sits and watches. And when they see people lined up back up at the door, they get out of the coffee shop and start walking back to the office.
Just amazing.
Yep, happens every time. I see it every time. I even remember being at one client. We were talking about evacuation plans. We had just agreed where the assembly locations were going to be. We developed them with the property manager that was on site, so that everyone would follow the same thing. Excuse me. The executives were in agreement. Okay, this is what we're going to do. 2 days later, the fire alarm did go off legitimately. It was not a test, and I went straight to where the crisis team was supposed to gather.
Okay.
I was the only one there.
Nice.
No one else showed up. And I went, we got back and I went, we just went through this.
We did.
And no one showed up. They're going, well, we didn't think we had to do that. I'm going, you didn't know, I said, what was going on? And you just told the whole staff what they're supposed to do. And you finalized the plans with the property management. You signed off on it, and nobody showed up.
That's fantastic. Well, I can tell you, in the event of a major emergency here, my car's in the parking lot, and we will be going to my house. That is our immediate Speaking's Park, business continuity plan, James's car, James's house.
I have my passport with me. I have
all
my
you
wallet and my phone with me
That's right.
and the charger. I'm fine.
We're good.
Anything can happen. I'm fine. I'm covered.
All of our equipment is in indestructible cases, so we can
Yeah.
search through the wreckage afterwards to find our gear,
Exactly. That'll work. Fine. I'm okay with that.
which has been in my house for quite a while. We love it.
Hopefully to be reduced soon. Very soon.
I think I brought more luggage to this conference than any conference I've ever been to in my life, and I lived within an hour and a half. My car was full,
Yeah, it was
so
quite a bit back
even
there.
my wife was like, "Aren't you just going to Orlando for 3 days? Why do you have so much stuff?"
Why is there so much? Is there something else going on?
It's a long story. We have
And now
to be
it's all up
prepared
in-
for anything.
Now it's either in front of us or it's up in my room. So, but I'll be taking some of the stuff back home with me. So hopefully the car will be lighter on the way. Way back. So what other wonderful things do we have? I know we still have 5 more minutes before our next guest.
So I'm gonna skip ahead. We had a lot of stuff about Haiti that we didn't
yes.
get to part 2, but I want to hold on. I'm trying to confirm our dinner reservations for tonight. Like this restaurant is very aggressive. I have confirmed so many times. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm afraid. I think they want me to click the wrong button and delete. Yeah, see right now there's a modify and a cancel. We'll deal with this later. So one little thing with Haiti, I'm going to cut out some stuff. But as conditions there have deteriorated, the U.S. State Department announced over the weekend that it would offer limited charter flights for American citizens back to the U.S. because the airport in the capital city of Port-au-Prince remains closed. But what I found interesting and what I wanted to ask you about here is, so the good news is if you're a U.S. citizen, you can get out of Haiti. But the bad news is anyone who's taking one of those flights, a U.S. citizen, they must sign a promissory note agreeing to reimburse the government for the cost of the flight. And I feel that's kind of interesting because obviously if you're in an area of the world that has deteriorated to the point where the only way to get out is your government getting you out, you're very thankful that you're leaving. But you don't know what the price of the ticket is.
Yeah.
So do you just sign that and deal with it like tomorrow? Like, oh, I have a $40,000 bill.
And we all know that a
Oh, well.
toothpick in the military is $40,000.
Exactly. So my question to you is, in those relief efforts of rescuing not just the United States, any country's citizens, should they bill those citizens for those relief efforts?
I don't think that's a yes, no kind of question to answer. I think circumstances are going to dictate that one itself. Some people may have gone there for vacation or something. Well, you've already paid for your flights, to come back. So they've already paid once. So charging the second time wouldn't seem right. Just because the Haiti won't let you fly out, you shouldn't get dinged for it. But if you're there for long term and you decide, well, I want to go home now, bring me home,
Too bad.
too bad. It's like, well, then maybe you should pay for it. You're there of your own reconnaissance, not for a short-term vacation and something blew up while you were there. So I don't think it's an easy yes or no type of response of what government should do or can do, depending on the situation. Because at the same time, if the airport's closed and there's been a lot of fighting around the airport, you're also putting the people that are coming in these flights to get you in danger as well. So then there's extra security or something that's required for them. Well, where's that money come from too?
Yeah, we've talked about on previous broadcasts that sometimes disaster recovery is based on financial struggle.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're stuck somewhere and the only way to get home is with an unknown bill, some people are going to sign that and have the means to deal with it in the aftermath, and some people are not. I'm trying to get our next guest's attention. My last throw-in thing of the day. This is where that frisbee
Who would come in handy? Yes.